Hi, welcome back guys. So this week we're going to be working on learning how to weave. So we're going to be using paper to make our woven projects today. Now this is just a regular standard white piece of paper. You can use any kind of paper that you have at home. And then I also have these little pieces of colored paper that I cut into strips. They're maybe about an inch wide, but I mean you can cut them thinner and thicker if you'd like. If you do not have construction paper at home, you could always just grab another piece of paper, color or design that one a different color, and then cut that into strips. Okay, so you're going to need also a pencil and some scissors. You may also need at the end some glue or a piece of tape to secure all of your woven ends. But again, that's optional. If you do this correctly, when you pick up your paper and you shake it, nothing should go anywhere. Okay, so you may not even need glue or tape at the end, but that part is completely optional. All right, so stay tuned for instructions. All right, so I'm going to take my white piece of paper here and I'm going to fold it in half first. So I'm going to take my paper here. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. Now, once my paper is folded, I want to pay attention to the different sides of my paper. Now here I've got the spine of my fold, and then here I have my open side. Now we're going to want to turn our paper upside down so that way the spine is facing away from us. Okay, so the spine of our folded paper is facing away from us. Alright, so I'm going to take that pencil and starting up here from the top of the spine of my drawing, I'm going to draw a curved line. Okay? And I'm stopping right whenever I get to the edge of my paper because I don't want to go all the way. Okay? And I'll show you what it looks like too whenever I finish. So I'm just going to add some more curvy lines and I'm stopping before I get to the bottom. Alright, now I've got all of my lines done, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors now and I'm going to flip my paper over so now my spine is facing towards me. And while my paper is still folded in half, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut along those lines that I drew. But again, I'm going to stop before it gets to the edge of my paper because then I'm just going to chop it off and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to follow along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently open up my folded paper, very gently, okay? I'm going to kind of press it flat. And I want you to notice that all of my pieces here are still attached because I stopped here at the edge. They're not falling apart or anything. And it's still one whole piece of paper. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my strips of my other paper. Now you don't have to use construction paper, colored paper like this. You can always just color or design another piece of paper and cut it into strips. It's up to you and what you have. Okay, so I'm going to do mine in rainbow order just because, you know, I love rainbows. So I'm going to start with my red first. Now here's what you do when you're going to start weaving. Most of the time you're going to want to start here from the bottom just so that way it's easier. But it just depends on how, on you really. So what I'm going to do for my first weave is I'm going to, basically it's going to follow the same rules as a checkerboard. So you're going to C1, skip one, C1, skip one. So I'm going to skip this bottom one right here and I'm going to go straight to my second line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread that through underneath one of my layers. And then my next layer here, I'm going to skip that one and I'm going to tuck it under the next layer. And you can rewind this too or pause it if you need to. Okay, see, we've already got a weave. So then again, I'm going to skip one and then go to the next one here. And that's the one I'm going to go behind. And then I pull my paper through. All right. Pretty simple, right? And I'm going to have some little extra hanging at the bottom, but that's okay. You can always trim that off later if you want to create something else. Then I'm going to take my next color, but I already skipped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure there's a white space in between each of my colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip this bottom one here. So that means I'm going to go behind, and then I'm going to go over, just like that. And then I'm going to go under, and then over, and then under, over, and under. Okay, so you can see that now it's starting to form. Okay, so I'm going to do one more row and then I'm going to end up fast forwarding through this. So again, you could always rewind and watch this again if you need it to go slower. So I'm going to take my yellow and then I'm going to switch again. I'm going to go over now and under. Okay, over, under. Over, under. Over. And all you have to do is just keep pushing those colors closer together so that way they're nice and tight. Okay. And there I have my weaves. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going. And you're going to want to go all the way until you reach the end of your paper. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that now. And here we have our finished woven product here. So what you can do to secure this is you could take a little bit of glue or some tape and glue the top of each of your colored strips, and you could trim off the excess and do the same thing down here. A drop of glue or a piece of tape on each colored strip will keep your woven project from going anywhere. So I'm going to trim mine up real quick. Alright, and here I have my final woven project. So I hope you guys get creative with this. Now you could also trim this into a shape if you would like. Just be cautious because some of your checkerboard or your weaving may come undone, but you could always secure it with a piece of tape or a dot of glue. Alright, so I can't wait to see what you guys create, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!